Hi, I'm Rachel Lovell with Rachel Lovell Astrology, and today I'm going to be talking about Saturn through the 12 houses. Saturn takes about 29.5 years to orbit the Sun. That's about 2.5 years in each house. Saturn is associated with Kronos, and in ancient astrology, Saturn is associated with both Aquarius and Capricorn. Saturn represents restriction, obstacles, limitations, oppositions. In the zodiac, Saturn is across from Leo and Cancer, represented by the Sun and the Moon, and are the luminaries. Saturn is discipline, depression, decay, death. I think I said obstacles and blockages, big time blockages. And he is the Lord of Karma. Saturn is also the timekeeper, and that's what Kronos was, the god of time. He is our greatest teacher. Saturn, I would like to invite you to look at Saturn as a teacher, as opposed to what he gets a bad rap for. His transits tend to be quite difficult, especially on the angles and the 8th house. But the transits, they do tend to be hard, but I really want to invite you to look at Saturn as one of the greatest teachers that we have, one of the biggest soul's evolution that you're going to experience. Saturn builds brand new foundations. Saturn leaves many gifts at the end of his transit, at least from my experience and from what I've seen. You know, wherever Saturn's transiting, whether it be in friendships, money, joint finance, or higher education, you know, whichever house he's going in, if there are blocks or if there are holes in these situations, in these themes of your life, Saturn comes in and he forces a spotlight on it, and he forces you to restructure these areas of your life. So if he goes into the house of friendships and you have friendships that are no longer serving you, you're probably going to see the end to those friendships, and get new friendships that are healthy for you and that help you. Same with relationships, same thing. If he goes into the house of finance or joint finance and this area needs mad restructuring, by the end of that transit, you're going to be in a completely new place where it comes to finances and joint finance. So I really, when I look at Saturn, I look at him like not just the teacher, not the favorite teacher, like not the grade 2 teacher that you go in, he's just like rainbows and butterflies and you just love being in his class. It's not that teacher. No. He is the college professor that you go in. It's very serious. It's a very serious tone. And, there's no goofing around in the class. But when you finish that class, when you leave, you have a brand new understanding that is bulletproof, solid foundation on whatever it is that you are learning from him. So, I'm going to go through all of the houses, and this is my first series. I was really drawn to do Saturn. I'm very drawn to Saturn. The biggest changes in my life have come through my Saturn transits. They have been, they've restructured me as a person. And, he is the Lord of Karma, and, paying back karma is, it's not easy, but there's freedom in that. There is so much freedom in paying off karma and paying our dues and building solid foundations in all areas of our life. So, I find Saturn, or I think of Saturn as a blessing. I'm sure he's not done with me. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the 12 houses. If you don't know what house Saturn is, you're going to go by your rising sign. and you can find that on astro-seek.com. You can go ahead and find your rising sign, and if you drop a comment below, I can let you know which house Saturn is transiting in your chart. And that's it. Have a wonderful day. All right, so Saturn transiting the 6th house. The 6th house in ancient astrology was known as the house of bad fortune. It is the joy of Mars. So if Mars is placed in the 6th house in your chart, that is a auspicious place for it. 6th house governs illness, injury, work, subordinates. It's one of the heavier houses. I'll go through a couple. I'll go through the list of topics that may come up, and then I'm going to put a little bit of a spin on it, because there's wonderful things that can happen in this house. So, and toil and labor. It's the hard work, the monotony, the drudgery, the day-to-day grind, the getting up at 5 in the morning and driving an hour downtown to the city to work at your job that you don't enjoy, and it's the doing dishes, it's the day in day out grind, sacrificial work, stuff that you really don't get too much joy and pleasure out of. Small pets are under this category. Enemies, conflict, war, and hostility. Sickness, including chronic illness, accidents and strife. Again, it is the house of misfortune. The labor prior to the completion. I want to come back to that one. And endless drudgery, daily routine, and people that work for you, subordinates. Okay, so what Saturn's doing here is structuring your day-to-day routine. It's not the funnest, but there is something very valuable about it. When Saturn transited this house of mine, 6th house, is when I was competing in bodybuilding, and I was doing cardio twice a day and working out. I was in the best shape of my life, and it was constant, consistent. I owned a gym actually at the time, and I was absolutely focused on my routine. One of the other things too is that I was, my diet was on point. I had lost weight. I mean, it's like that you get up every morning, you have that same green shake every single morning. I was eating food like I'd have my breakfast, and then I'd have 10, and then I'd have at 10 o'clock I'd eat, and then 1 o'clock, and then 4 o'clock snack, and 5, and then 9 o'clock snack. Like it was crazy, because that's not the type of person I am. In my chart, I have Uranus in the 6th house, so I'm all over the place, right? Keeping routine is extremely hard for me, and there was something very satisfying about being able to have a routine like that, and that's what Saturn brings when he comes here. So we went into working out. You may get in the best shape of your life. You may start a gym routine and be relentless. You may go every, whatever your schedule is, 4 or 5 times a week. Same time, same thing, and work really, really diligently at getting yourself in the best shape that you can be. You may then also look at your diet. You may have that green smoothie every single morning, and have whatever it is that works for you for your diet. That may really influence you, right? You may really put your diet into play. Unfortunately, health crisis may arise. Saturn is here to add structure and to, if there's something lingering and there's something wrong with your health, it is going to expand at this time. It's going to flare up. So, that knee injury that you haven't looked at in a long time, or you've been having this kind of chronic problem for years and you've never really looked into it, well, it's going to flare up. And you probably will be made to do something about that injury, or health crisis. Saturn's trying to get you as healthy as you can possibly be. This is the house of health. So that's why a spotlight is being shone on these things. You're looking directly at them. How can I make my health better? How can I make my body stronger? How can I get most organized in my house? How can I have the best routine? even to do with like when you do your dishes and when you do cleaning and when you like everything's structured. Small pets, you may get a new pet, you may lose a pet. What I would say is that if any of your pets get sick in this transit, to go deal with that right away. If you do, if it's time for one of your pets to, you know, go over the Rainbow Bridge, then, you know, it's in this time that may happen, right? When small pets may cross over. But, you know, either way, you could also invite a new pet into your life. The day-to-day grind can become extremely monotonous, but you know you're motivated and you want to do it. So it's not, you know, you have the energy to do it. You have that structure. You have Saturn driving you. Enemies and conflict that can arise. Now, that could arise potentially in the workplace. You could, you know, all of a sudden see, because it's the house of bad fortune, you know, stuff like that can come up, unfortunately. Not all the houses are, you know, magic, rainbow, well, they're all magic, but not all of them are rainbows and butterflies. And life isn't, right? So yeah, enemies and conflict can arise, but you know what? Again, it's Saturn adding structure, removing these people from your life. Maybe you have people in your life that no longer resonate with you, or maybe you have somebody at work that you need to kind of separate from. You're going to become incredibly organized and structured. You're going to become healthier. You're going to become fitter. Your health is going to be priority. And at the end of this transit, when Saturn's moving over to your 7th, you're going to be a very structured, incredibly organized, diligent, healthy individual. Hopefully everything will come to the surface, and hopefully you're able to really work diligently and get yourself in the most incredible shape of your life, and just get yourself the healthiest that you can possibly be. This is about the physical body we're talking about. We're not talking about the mental, psychological. We're strictly talking about physical body. And then subordinates, I don't know if I went over that, but just really quickly, people that work for you, you can have problems with them. You could have problems hiring people. You could have problems, you know, keeping good staff. You could have, you know, issues with, you know, if we want to, the hiring people that are good, that work well with you. This could become an issue, or like a turnover. Staff that already works with you may become insubordinate. So yeah, you know, it's a time where that might pose a problem for you, but Saturn's just trying to get you the best staff that you can possibly have. What works for you, what works for your team. So he's flushing out what's not working. Just like everything else he does. Saturn's a beautiful planet, and what he brings is structure and amazing things. So as he's traveling through this house, he's going to take care of the work, your health, your body, and So all in all, I just do want to say it looks like one of the darker kind of transits, but I want to say that while Saturn transited this house for me, I truly became just so healthy. There were other things that came up with work too, and I did see some of these other themes, but overall, when I look back at that time, I think about the structure and how absolutely physically fit I got, and how strong I was. I was very, very strong. So I hope that you have an amazing experience with Saturn transiting your 6th house too. Take care.